Welcome to episode 60 of If This Car Could Talk, where we're bringing you a one-owner survivor 1986 Ford Mustang SVO, owned, driven, and loved by Chuck Young in Phoenix, Arizona. This little red Ford Mustang is a rare example of a breed you don't see much anymore. I'll let Chuck tell you about his cool car. Now let's go for a ride.
My name is Charles Young. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm the original owner of the 1986 Mustang SVO Medium Canyon Red, code 2A. So I bought this car in 1986 from Bell Ford in Phoenix. I was not looking to buy a Mustang, but I had taken a test drive in one with a friend of mine, and I was very impressed with the fifth gear performance, that a little four-banger could actually push you back in the seat. I needed a car, and I made a trip down to Chevy's and Vets when they were in Tempe on Dobson, and I swaggered into the showroom there, and I leaned up on the counter and I said to the guy, I want a 67 427 Roadster, okay, red with road pipes, and I want one with the papers. And he kind of squinted at me and leaned back on the counter and he said, you give me $5,000 cash and I can have that car here for you in about 3 days. It costs you about $16,000. So I went home all happy and told my wife about that, and she had a cow and said, you're not going to spend that kind of money on a used car. So then I thought about this SVO, and I drove up to Bell Ford and looked at it, and it was $16,000 also. So needless to say, I ended up with that car. Well, 5 years later, I've still got this SVO, and I'm single. And it's worth about $4,000 or $5,000 now because it's a used car. So I go, hey, I'm single. So I go back over to Chevy's and Vets. They're in Scottsdale now, up on Scottsdale Road. And I swaggered on into the showroom and put my shoulder on the counter, and I said to the guy, I want a 67 427 Roadster, red with road pipes, and one with the papers. And he kind of squinted at me and leaned back on the counter, and he said, you put $25,000 cash down right now, I can have that car for you here in about 3 days. They're going for about $80,000 right now. So that's my 67 Corvette. I bought the car. I've had it, I drove it daily to work for the first 3 years, at which time I had changed employers and they gave me a company car, so it went in the garage. That was 1989. Car today has 68,000 miles on it, so it's back to low mileage status. Things I've done over the years, first of all, when it was bone stock, I took it on a test drive one early Sunday morning up towards Wickenburg from Phoenix, which is Highway 60, and I was able to tap the speedometer out at 140 miles an hour, just like they said it would do. And it's amazingly smooth at that speed. The faster you go, the better it feels. Haven't done it since. Since then, I've put in a Beauport 1.9 cam, and those of you that are SVO people will recognize that as that's kind of a track cam. It's pretty hot. I've got a T3. I've converted the turbo to a T4. It's a E6 ported exhaust manifold, roller lifters. I'm running about 18 pounds of boost. I think I'm putting out probably 250, 300 horse when it's under full load, so it can still move, and it's a fun car. It's basically all original except for some of the little motor things. It's the SVO with a Mustang body on it. That's why none of the Mustang parts will fit on an SVO. Okay. TRW rack and pinion steering, Recaro seats, 6-way Coney adjustable suspension, all that baloney. Front and rear sway bars. You don't have to slow down to go around a turn like when we came back here. I didn't slow down. It's just really a fun car to drive. I've never driven that car when I didn't know that I was driving an SVO. Even commuting to work, you go, wow, this is an SVO. So, and I've still got it, so it's one of the stable right now. Long-term plans, I don't know. I don't have any. I've owned the car since it was new. It's only got 68,000 miles on it now. It's still kind of new. I do all the work myself. I have changed the rear end from the 7.5 inch rear end to the 8.8. I've changed the gear ratio. I brought it from a 373 down to the 411. It's got the Roush Super Positraction clutch plates in it. Did all that myself. I set up all my rear ends. I do my own air conditioning. I do everything. So anyway, that's basically the story of the SVO.
Thanks for sharing your SVO with us, Chuck. We hope you have many more miles of fun driving enjoyment. Be sure to watch for next Thursday's video, where we feature the interesting history of these Special Vehicle Operations Mustangs. Until then, keep it between the ditches and stay safe out there.